Hello, and welcome to a new episode of Drinks and a Round Table, the podcast notoriously known for having all the equipment to record a proper podcast, yet I don't think we've done one yet because we keep forgetting half of our equipment every time we record.
I have my microphone, it's just at home.
You have a microphone, but it's at home. You have a, what would that be, like the little holder? But that's at home. You forgot your cable.
Well,
You forgot the little tripod so we could do a live stream.
I have the tripod.
Oh, you have the tripod.
I have the tripod.
Whatever, we're still missing equipment.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm James. As always, my right-hand man on the left side is...
Alexander Void. And Paige.
That in the background is Paige, the wiener dog. That out on the street is a trash... No, that's a trash truck. You can hear next door is
We
the
got
gardener.
The plane.
We have Southwest
up there.
Airlines joining
Behind
us.
you.
Jesus,
Look
maybe
behind you. We got that guy on the roof.
podcasting outside wasn't the best of ideas.
Oh, well, we're doing it now.
Christ. Well, too late at this point.
Hey.
And Ashley's here.
Hi.
So
I'm fine. It's fine.
are you fine?
I know I have bronchitis.
It's okay, everyone.
Bronchitis. That's the one that that's what Tommy Lee gives you, right?
Ew, that's like hepatitis.
Oh,
Sounds the same.
it's all the same thing.
All right.
So anyway, we'll oh, and then there's a Paige joining us at the table. So it's just gonna be an ADD episode. That's just, hey, let's talk about, ooh, shit, what's this? What's that? Bird.
Yeah, you got some pumpkins back there?
Yeah, we still have our pumpkins sitting back there from Halloween.
They look disgusting.
What are those? A week old?
They look disgusting.
Week and a half old?
Dying,
Gross.
yeah.
They look like they're melting into.
Well, let's get into what has brought us all here today.
Doctor Strange.
There you go. Dun da da da.
Is that how it goes?
Yeah, I think that's the theme song for Doctor Strange. So
Well,
with-
let me go on that rant. Okay, like I have a problem with Marvel not having theme songs. Like
They have
none
theme
of the
songs.
characters have theme songs. Name one theme song.
they all have like a certain title
Go.
song that comes on.
Go, just one. Give me 1 second of one of them. Or I guess it has to be 3 seconds for it to be a song.
Wait, what are you talking about? Are you like
Because none of them have theme songs. The only one that I could think of is Iron Man has AC/DC. Like you actually put.
I thought no, but they all have original movie score like.
Well, they all have movie
sounds.
scores, of course.
No,
'cause
but
it
I'm
can't be
saying
a
like they
silent
have
movie.
like certain sounds that like every time they're on screen like. that's
Yeah,
what
but
you
it's not
hear.
memorable. Like I can't think of one.
I mean, I don't think any of them are memorable other than Batman's.
Well, I think of Pirates of the Caribbean.
Who's that?
I think of Harry Potter.
But those aren't their theme songs. Those are like.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying is that like. Captain America has one, which is fuck, I can't even think of it off the top of my head now. But
I
Iron Man.
can't think of any theme song.
No, they all have one though. They all have scores. That like it's the same thing like Harry Potter. Like that's not Harry Potter's theme song. It's the official score for that particular.
Well, I can't think of one Marvel song.
Well, you can't think of one anything on a lot of time.
That's a
I
fact.
don't even know.
But you, like, can you think of one song that actually relates to any of these Marvel movies or the MCU movies?
Yeah, they got the one that goes dun 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 dun. It's like the beginning of the Marvel credits and
Okay.
stuff when the title sequence is going.
Cute.
Then they have Captain America: The First Avenger. Fuck, I'm trying to think because that one was pretty iconic as well.
Okay, so you win with that round. But anyways.
Anyway, so
that's the problem
Doctor
I have with Doctor
Strange.
Strange.
So, who here has seen Doctor Strange?
Who has or hasn't?
Has.
I've seen Doctor Strange.
Okay.
Nope.
So,
I was out of town. It's fine. It's my fault for not seeing it when
yeah, you
saw
should
it.
you should have just stayed in town. Yeah, I know you had to go to a wedding, but that's okay. Forget the wedding.
I
This
love
is
my
more
cousin.
important.
He's important to me.
Well, this movie's more important than anything.
You're awful.
So Doctor Strange, if you don't want to have the movie spoiled for you, you'll probably want to step away. But for right now, we'll just talk some overview stuff. Doctor Strange is what number is this?
8.
Is it number 8? So let's run down the list. What do we got? We got Iron Man,
We start with the Iron Man. Then we
Iron
start,
Man 2.
No,
No, Iron Man, Incredible Hulk.
Yes. Iron Man 2.
Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America,
First Avenger, then the Avengers.
then Avengers. Then you have Iron Man 3,
Yes.
Thor 2, Captain
Dark
America
World.
2,
Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier. And then Avengers 2.
Yeah, right. It's
That's
Age of
that's
Ultron.
11.
Was Ant-Man was right after that.
Ant-Man. That's 12.
Is it really? I counted 10. I gotta lose myself. Okay, so Ant-Man, I counted as 11 for some reason. You counted as 12.
Basically, we're getting close to 13 or 14. Is really where.
Let's see, it's Ant-Man. Then we have a Civil War. And then we had that's it.
Hold on. I'm pulling it up on Wikipedia. Let's just. You and I are clearly not capable of
Saying numbers.
Yeah. So count these out for me. Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America, Marvel's Avengers, Iron Man 3, Thor: The Dark World, Captain America: Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, forgot all about it.
Avengers: Age of Ultron and Ant-Man. Then you have Captain America: Civil War, and then Doctor Strange.
So that is 14.
So that 14. Jesus.
Wow. Yeah.
14 movies already. So it's the 14th movie of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It stars Benedict Cumberbatch, and that's all I fucking know.
Butterscotch, Bender bitch, Cabbage Patch.
Let's see. Directed by Scott Dickerson. Produced
Derrickson.
by... Huh? Derrickson?
Derrickson.
Dickerson.
Derrickson, who made
Um,
horror movies.
You know what's on your mind.
let's see what else is
Was
there.
Insidious?
Here, starring Benedict Cumberbatch, Chiwetel...
Eddie Four.
Yeah, there you go. Rachel McAdams, Benedict Wong.
Yes.
I'm not going to go down the rest of these names because I'm going to butcher those. Let's see. Produced by Marvel.
Oh yeah. Is Kevin Feige involved at all?
All right, here we go. This is the information I was
Is
looking
Stan Lee
for.
in it?
So it's a 115-minute movie. The budget was 165 million. Ugh, stupid fly. And then as of now, the box office, it's made $325.8 million.
It made a lot.
That is a lot of money in one weekend. Ultimately, robbing banks is no longer where you should go. Instead, go to the box office.
Go to Disney.
Yeah, go to Disney, rob them. So let's see. You had a series of questions that you had lined up to go down when we get into this. So
my
bust
thought
those out?
first off was, what did you know about Doctor Strange before coming into this movie?
So I was actually a little bit more excited for Doctor Strange going into this movie because I don't know a whole lot about him. I don't know a lot about his villains. I don't know a whole lot about like how he got his powers. I know who he is. I've read, some of the Infinity War stuff, the Civil War stuff. I've read, what else was there? Secret Wars. So like all those kind of things. He pops up and he does show up quite a bit, but I've never really been big into the mystical magic part of the Marvel universe, which is why even like Thor, I wasn't huge into the Thor comics. I was bigger into Iron Man, the more technology type stuff. I was bigger into Spider-Man, which is the more relatable type of stuff. Daredevil, because he was just kind of like more like Batman. But I liked more of and I know I'm, using this term very loosely, but the more realistic type of things, not so magical, wizardy, that kind of stuff just never really caught my attention.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Like, I wasn't into the mystical stuff, so that's why anybody wearing a cape, I was kind of already turned off. I was just already think, hey, they're mystical. So when it came to Doctor Strange, I was not for it. I just didn't care. I did read the first Doctor Strange. The first Doctor Strange comic was to be the new Marvel Now stuff, which is very interesting, but still way too mystical for me. I didn't care for it.
So you're saying you didn't care for the comic books, though?
Yeah, it was good, but it just wasn't for me. So I actually stuck to stuff like Spider-Man and Daredevil, so more grounded in reality.
Right, and that's kind of the same thing with me. Is it's just I'm not big into the mystical side of comic books. I want to be able to think that maybe it's something that can be real. So Spider-Man, that kind of shit, maybe could happen, but you can't just learn to.
You don't believe magic?
No. She looks fun. I'm not big into the magic stuff.
So what did you know about Doctor Strange before coming into this movie?
Not too terribly much.
I knew nothing about it. It's
Yeah.
like Kevin Feige loved Doctor Strange, and he's been wanting to make this movie forever.
Yeah, I didn't know a whole lot about him. I knew who he was. I kind of knew his position, and I knew he's the tie to the different dimensions. But that's all I honestly
didn't
knew
even
about
know
him.
he had to do with time, but supposedly time was a big thing with him.
Well, I
didn't know
think
that.
time was a big thing in this movie for reasons we'll get into later.
But from what I read, time was always a big thing for him.
I don't think it's
even
necessarily.
without this movie.
I mean, again, I haven't dived too much into
yes,
like
and
Doctor
I'm telling you
Strange
right now.
personal comics, but I don't think it's necessarily time. I think it's more dimensions.
No, he does deal with dimensions because he only deals with mystic people, but time was always a big part of his life from all comics. I didn't know. I thought it was only for the Infinity Gauntlet kind of bullshit, like the Infinity Stones, but it's always been a thing.
Huh.
Yeah.
Alright.
See, so like when I was thinking, what gem will he have? I always thought Soul Gem before even Age of Ultron,
Right.
because I knew Doctor Strange was gonna come out eventually. But then
Nah. Save it for later. We have to do a spoiler disclaimer.
yeah, that's true.
Later.
But yeah, time was always a big thing, and dimensions always a big thing.
So my question was that I had for you, what did you think when you heard that Benedict Cumberbatch was going to be casted as Doctor Strange?
I was completely for it just because I watched Sherlock and I love Butterscotch Cabbage Patch, so I was for it. I heard that Joaquin Phoenix was supposed to be him, and I didn't think that would fit.
He was in the running to be cast for it.
Supposedly they actually want him first.
Hmm.
Like that was their first choice, but he didn't want to agree to a multi-picture deal and doing the stuff at Comic-Con and stuff. Because I can't imagine Joaquin Phoenix being at Comic-Con.
Yeah, right. Yeah, when I had heard that he was casted as Doctor Strange, ultimately even anybody. I mean, even when they were like, "Oh yeah, Paul Rudd will be Ant-Man," when they said, who else? Tom Holland will be Spider-Man. I've never really questioned Marvel. They're not somebody that strikes me as like, hey, let's just cast
The
somebody
Tom Holland
large.
one actually did get me in a weird loop because I was going for what's his name? I can't believe it's not Butterfield. What's his name? Asa Butterfield. God,
What?
I gotta look him up. Yeah, he's the guy who played Ender's Game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was supposed to be him. He was in the running, so I was like completely on that train. So when it got announced that it was Tom Holland, I was like, what?
Yeah, Marvel hasn't struck me as a kind of company that's in the runnings to like just do whatever seems to make them money. Like even though they're obviously clearly in it for the money, but
Yeah, it was Asa
they're not
Butterfield.
just like, cool, let's hurry up. Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Asa Butterfield.
But they're not just casting people to be like, cool, we have a Ben Affleck on our team. We're not just gonna go in and cast anybody. Like same thing with Jesse Eisenberg. Oh, we're just gonna make a big name become one of our characters. The guy who plays Daredevil. Nobody had really known of him
know
until
nothing
I
about
think it
him.
was a movie called Dreamcatcher or something like that.
Oh,
That was
wow.
like the last thing that he had
I didn't
done.
even watch that.
But so he, all of a sudden he becomes Daredevil, and then same thing with Luke Cage. These are all people that nobody kind of knows about. Tom Holland didn't know much about him. Even Robert Downey Jr. was off the map for a long time, and then he got pulled in by Jon Favreau. So he, I don't know, Marvel just is good at finding a certain person and being like, cool, you're the character that we're going to need and use. They're not just like, cool, let's just get the next big actor to join us.
Well, actually, they were doing the wrong thing in the beginning. At least the beginning, because Iron Man was supposed to be played by Tom Cruise, if I remember. Imagine Tom Cruise with Iron Man.
My understanding was that the studio wanted Tom Cruise to be Iron Man, but Favreau was like, no.
Yes, that's what it was, because Jon Favreau worked with Robert Downey Jr., and I guess that was
Right.
his thing. But yeah, the studio actually wanted
And even then, too, and a perfect example going into saying that they're not just casting whoever they want for these things is Edward Norton was the Incredible Hulk in the Universal movie, and then when they tied it all together, obviously Norton is just notorious for being difficult to work with and all that other stuff. But then they went and recasted Mark Ruffalo as the Incredible Hulk, and even then, it's like he's perfect. Everybody keeps wanting a Hulk movie with him, and I think he on top of everybody else has realized, well, the Hulk is a great side character, not necessarily a main character. And so I think he's been doing the Hulk incredible justice. But
I don't get it.
But yeah, so Benedict Cumberbatch, the second I heard he was casted, even though I've never really seen any movies with him, I think he did a great job, and I think he was definitely fit for the part.
I'm very happy
Seen
with
the
him.
Star Trek movie?
Oh, yeah.
I
Star
have
Trek.
not seen the Star Trek movie with him in it.
Really?
Yeah.
Star
That's part of the
Trek.
reboots, right?
Yes.
Yeah. No.
Into Darkness? Is that what it was called?
I think so.
Yeah, I forgot what it's called, but it's practically Wrath of Khan.
Yeah.
And yeah, he played. Spoilers for Star Trek.
Oh no! No spoilers. You should have.
Yeah, by
seen
now,
that
Star
movie
Trek,
by
you
now.
should have seen it.
But yeah, he's Khan. And my issue with that was that he didn't play a Doctor Strange character. Like, the only time I've ever seen him play a Doctor Strange character is Sherlock. But
I love that show
he
so much.
is so good. But like I seen him in other stuff, and he's always played this serious character, like Smaug from the second Hobbit movie, Desolation of Smaug.
I don't think I've seen the Hobbit movies. I watched Lord of the Rings once, and I was like, cool, that's out of my system.
There's only one trilogy.
Let's see, what else? What other questions you got on your
Oh,
list
yes.
of things?
So what character actually stuck with you,
Doctor Strange.
other than Doctor Strange? Any other characters that actually stuck with you that you cared about?
I mean, not that I was like passionate for, but the villain of the movie.
Okay.
I don't know. I definitely liked seeing him. I know who he is, because he's fought the Avengers and stuff as well.
I agree with you, but I'm looking for something like more like Mordo. See, because Mordo actually did stick with me because I saw him as a Loki character. It's like, hey, I was on your side.
Which
at
one was
first.
that?
Mordo was the other guy, the green guy. He's wearing a green.
Oh yeah. The guy who hands him the thing and goes, "What's this?" And he goes,
Yes.
"It's the Wi-Fi password. We're not savages."
Yes, exactly. So for him, I liked his thing. Like he went in here thinking it's like this is the right thing to do, and then in the end, he's like, oh, spoilers, I guess.
Yeah, at this point, we might as well just disclaim: if you're going to keep listening to the podcast from here forward, there is going to be spoilers.
All right, guys. So spoilers here. Before we go to spoilers, just say, will you recommend this? Will you recommend this to people? Would you say?
Oh
hey,
yeah,
watch this?
I recommend it. I haven't seen it in IMAX 3D yet, but I am going to go see it in IMAX 3D. But I will forewarn anybody who gets motion sickness or anything like that easily. If you do get motion sickness, definitely do not see it in IMAX 3D because it's gonna be basically an hour, almost 2 hour movie in the view of a kaleidoscope.
Okay, and for myself, I did watch an IMAX 3D, of course, because I only watch Marvel movies in IMAX 3D because I'm not a savage. So the 3D really didn't do anything for me, but I did love the IMAX screen. That's kind of what I go for, anyways. The 3D, you just stop seeing it. It just stops being a thing. So I get it that they're pushing it, but for me, I don't think it's mandatory. I don't think it's even important.
I mean,
at
I
all.
don't think it's mandatory either to see any movie in IMAX 3D, but I feel like a movie like this where you can clearly see dimensions changing and the realms shifting and all this other stuff, I just think it'd be cool to at least see it in IMAX 3D at least once.
The only way that I could actually go for IMAX, and this sounds very cliche, but it was Avatar. But the reason why is just because things were in front of the screen and behind the screen, so it gave the film depth. And this one, it was clearly converted into 3D, or at least that's what it looked like to me, where only the background or only the characters were 3D. So when I was looking at it, it was clearly not made for 3D. So that's my issue with this. So that's why I don't think so. So whenever he made the spells or anything, it actually doesn't even look like it's actually 3D, like it was meant to be 3D. So that's what it is. It's just at least for Avatar, you had these little bubbles and weird things that are flying around that actually gave this thing depth. It was more about the atmosphere, as they use the 3D for atmosphere rather than just like characters pointing at the screen.
Right, and I mean, but I personally feel like I'd much rather see a movie that's converted for 3D rather than a movie that was made for 3D, because if you see a movie that's made for 3D, I feel like it always lacks story development, the character connections, all that kind of stuff. So if they made the movie like this and then they convert it for 3D, I think that's just kind of a cool bonus rather than it having to be made for 3D. So all of their budget goes into that kind of
See, this is where it all gets technical, because I think that if a movie is written well, then it'll go well, but the director actually directs it to 3D, so somebody has to be able to direct 3D. They know they're making it for 3D, so they don't have to add to the budget. It just has to be like, okay, we know how to actually plan this out, block this,
right,
and so on and so forth. So I think that's
So,
what it is.
all right, well,
But
now,
anyways, I
full
recommend it.
disclaimer, Alex recommends it, I recommend it. Ashley, would you recommend it?
I'd recommend it because I know it rocks.
Oh, there you go.
Dickwads.
Simple as it's a Marvel movie, watch it.
It's a Marvel movie. They haven't failed yet. They're not failing with this one. So, all right, well, then let's get into all the spoilers.
Dormammu!
Well, Jesus.
I
That was,
loved Dormammu.
That was quick. How about we start back from the beginning of the film?
Okay, so it started
Before
off,
the guy with the green kill all of a sudden becomes evil in the post-credit scenes.
Yeah, so we start off with Dormammu.
Jesus, spoilers out the ass. All right.
So let's start from the beginning. So we have the typical story that's very Tony Starkish.
So I did like that he was very like clean cut. He didn't get his goatee until like he until he essentially was like, all right, I'm ready to become something different now. So I did like that.
I like that a lot too.
I'm gonna be pissed though that in the future movies when they finally do all come together, if Tony Stark doesn't turn to him and call him his facial hair brother.
Yeah.
Because I was watching it the whole time and I was like, oh, it's gotta happen. Do you think they had the same person who shaves Robert Downey Jr.'s facial hair? Like,
Yes.
shave theirs too?
I do
Shave
think so.
Benedict's?
I really do think so. I think that they're all together.
All right, so yeah. Anyway, but the beginning of the film, it basically opens up to his career, and I like that they did that. It wasn't necessarily an origin story, but in a way it was. So it wasn't telling you about how he became a doctor and all this other stuff. It just kind of was like, cool. Here's his career. This is kind of where it's at.
We didn't meet his parents, or
We
how
didn't
they
meet his
had
parents.
intercourse.
Yeah. They referenced, kind of like a slight relationship with that one girl. But
Yeah, and very small actually.
yeah,
I kind of want a little more. We did get a whole like feeling of there is a relationship going on, but it wasn't as deep as I wanted it to be. I guess I was looking for Tony Stark Pepper's Potts kind of thing.
right. You were looking for like full on relationship and all that. Yeah, I was actually kind of glad that in the end of it, it didn't end with the relationship being fine. It like ended in essentially them being still separated and
That
just
you
kind
saved
of
my life. Goodbye. I'm gone.
yeah, you saved my life. Later, thanks. And but I did like that he had a sense of cockiness about him. I liked that he was very full of himself from being the best that he could possibly
Yes.
be. My dog is running over here with a mission. He's got something to tell us.
Hello. Did you like Doctor Strange?
He looks like Doctor Strange.
But I agree with you because I did like that. You did actually feel like he was the best surgeon.
Right. And he had a sense of cockiness. Essentially, he's a wizard version of Tony Stark. But I like that they gave off his entire life's work in all of about a 20-minute lifespan, if not less, where they were just kind of like, look at all the awards he's won. He won't let other doctors work with him because he's like, no, I'm the best here. Like, you need to back up and all this other stuff. But I liked the small story that they gave in the beginning. Him being a surgeon, his hands, all that stuff. He got into that accident with the car. His hands are all jacked up. I will say, though, the thing that got to me in the movie, I'm so fucking sick by the midpoint of the movie. I'm so sick of seeing surgical knives and blood everywhere that I would just was like, fuck, man, like I hate this shit. Why am I watching this?
I just thought, don't text and drive.
Oh, right.
That's all I got from this.
But yeah, God, I fucking like, I don't like horror movies simply because of the blood, the guts, and all that shit. So this movie, tons of blood, knives, cutting,
I was quite
surgical
surprised.
shit. I was like,
It
God
started
damn it,
off
man.
with decapitation. Like,
That too.
yeah, this movie, it went super dark really fast. Like, it was telling you exactly what you're going in for.
Right. What did you think of that opening sequence where like the world, like the entire realm is shifting and changing and all that? And then what was that? The
Ancient one?
Ancient one in the beginning, basically fighting off all those
Something Achilles.
ninjas, Achilles or something like that. See, again, I don't know a whole shit ton about Doctor Strange, so I can't call all the characters exactly what they are. I know who Stephen Strange is. I know that he's Doctor Stephen Strange, and that's really it. Like that's to me, he's a B character.
I thought
in
it was
all
Mr.
of,
Doctor the whole time.
Mr. Doctor.
Mr. Doctor.
That's one thing I liked about the movie too, is that as serious as it kind of got with Mystic and them having to save the Earth and realms and all this stuff, it still was a very lighthearted. It had a lot of jokes and comedy to it because they played off the misunderstanding of the magic and sorcery and all that stuff. So I did like that.
Yeah, it was its own movie. I keep trying to compare it to Iron Man, but I did like its own movie.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's not one of those movies where you had to watch all the other ones. They talked about the Infinity Stones of the other movies, but they didn't explain it in a way where you were like, shit, I have to watch the other ones. It was like, cool, I know that there's other things out there. Let me maybe go check them out if I'm interested. So with that being said, obviously the Infinity Stone, what did you think about the reveal of the time stone?
I think people who've been following this already knew, and yeah, so I already knew, and I really liked how they showed it, like with that apple thing. Genius. Like I love that sequence, even though it felt like it lasted forever, showing that apple over and over again. But we did get the feel that he was learning how to use it, and that helped out. Like that paid off in the end. So I was happy about that. I don't know why nobody else thought of that to get the missing pages of Dormammu. If you remember the missing
Right,
pages.
because they ripped out that one page.
Yeah, and then he used the Agamotto to do that. So that was interesting. The other payoff, a big one, was the ancient weapon that it chooses you rather than you choose it. Very Harry Potter-esque. And that was the Cloak of Levitation.
Right.
Yeah, so I thought that was beautiful.
I liked that the Cloak of Levitation ultimately had its own mind.
Yeah.
I felt like they almost made the Cloak of Levitation kind of like the rug from Aladdin.
Yep.
Like it just had its own. Hey, we're trying to talk. Movie stuff here. It's important. Hey, English. Anyway, next time we just won't podcast outside. This is just not happening.
It's not working out.
But yeah, so I did like that the reveal of the Infinity Stone, the Time Stone. I liked that they, were able to have him master it so that he could put the page back in, so that he could, save the Earth in the end with the Infinity Stone.
That was genius.
I like
love
that they didn't get rid of the Infinity Stone though. They're just kind of like, cool, we're gonna hang on to this. Whereas all the other ones, like Thor and all those other ones, hey, send it back to your planet or to another world or something like that.
Okay.
Or give it to somebody else.
So that's something that bugged me. Okay, so for me, when I think of Doctor Strange, I actually think of the Cloak of Levitation and the Eye of Agamotto. So him leaving it kind of bugged me. I was just like, why did this happen?
Well, I mean, it's outside of reality in his little sanctorum.
I
So
get it, but in the comics, he always has it.
well, I mean, who's to say that he doesn't necessarily always have it? It's just that he's because they
Right
didn't
now.
say that he puts it back there and that's it. It's gone forever.
it's gonna come
He
back
said,
for sure.
He said, I need to leave it here until I can master it a little bit better. Speaking of mastering, I liked that in the movie, they had an explanation for why he's so good at the magic so quickly. I kind of feel like I would have appreciated it a little bit more if they would have time jumped it though, like 2 years later, and he's learned all of these things. Instead, they were just like, cool, he sat down and he read a lot and he learned the basic fundamentals he needed to just keep reading, because there was times where he was sleeping but his mind, he kept reading the
Yeah.
books and all that. I like that they explained it. I just feel like it's something they could have drawn out a little longer and just said, hey, 2 years later, and he's still learning more. I think it would have put more of an emphasis on how long and how much time it takes to perfect these kind of crafts.
Yeah,
and
I get you.
spells.
Other than being like quote unquote the chosen one, it was actually real practice.
Right, even if he is the chosen one, it still would be like it takes a lot of work to even be the chosen one.
Yeah, that's the thing I appreciated by from the Matrix. If you remember the Matrix, when he did the jump from jumping from one building to the other, the first one he failed. So I think that in this situation is he jumped and he made it.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I agree. This one did show more of a he's special rather than he's just learning.
Mm-hmm. What else was there? What did you think of the
The villain, he's a piece of shit. He's really boring. I don't care about him. They didn't show much of him.
Well, which you're talking about Dormammu,
No, I'm talking about
the guy with the hollowed out eyes looking
Yes.
thing, the cracky eyes.
Cracky Eyes. That's his name.
I thought that was all right. I knew he wasn't the big head villain of the movie,
Of course.
but he was all right. I just feel like his thing was a little bit more crybaby-ish. I think he should have had a little bit more development to him, because for him it was nothing more than like, oh, I just was lied to, and now I'm gonna go be evil and work in the Dark Realm, because we learned that the Ancient One essentially is taking her power from the Dark Realm, which they say don't do that.
Yeah.
But but she's doing it anyway. So out of the whole movie, this guy is angry because she was doing that, but now he's doing that himself.
Yep.
Why would you be mad at her? Why wouldn't you just maybe partner with her? Or
Well, what I got from this, not to get too religious, but what I got from this was immortality. That's what Dormammu was actually giving them. So she was drinking from the Fountain of Youth, and Dormammu was offering the Fountain of Youth. So everybody followed Dormammu because he lied to them and tried to give them the Fountain of Youth, hence the forbidden fruit.
right?
So that's what that is. It's that she has it. She had it before, and she's lying to everyone, saying that she never had it. So everybody has to follow her and try to be to par with her, but can't. So yep.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, I wish there was a little bit more development for his reason for being so hateful. It didn't strike me as like a 100% reason as to why. It just kind of was like they were brainwashed into just doing what he wants them to do, almost. Yeah, very culty. Drink the Kool-Aid.
Drink the Kool-Aid.
Dormammu. What did you think of Dormammu? The way they designed him and made him.
Beautiful. Like I was expecting Ghost Rider Flaming Head, but I actually really liked him a lot. He
The
reminded me.
dark entity looking.
He reminded me of Star Fox, to be honest. But yeah. But
I
really liked him.
think personally that Dormammu will end up being the Galactus version of the Marvel Cinematic Universe,
He is eating worlds.
because Galactus is owned by Fox.
Mhm.
So I think that Dormammu will be the Galactus version, and then I think maybe at one point too they'll make Dormammu more of a person type figure, because he's always got like that kilty looking shaman wear. Then he's got the flaming head.
You don't want him to be just a floating helmet that's a smoke thing
I mean, or that too. That works
going
too.
through New York and
But,
Fantastic Four.
I mean, I'm perfectly fine with that too. I'm just saying, I feel like right now he seems like a devourer of worlds, which is what Galactus is.
Yeah, I liked him a lot. If you didn't know, he's actually played by Screen Cap and the voice by Butterscotch Cabbage Patch.
Dormammu was?
Yeah.
Dormammu did, or Benedict Cumberbatch did?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Give me a second.
Right? I was so excited when I learned that. I was like, that's amazing.
So who else does Benedict Cumberbatch play besides Sorcerer? Dormammu. Towards the end of the film, Stephen Strange enters a dark dimension when he comes face to face Dormammu. A looming threat in the first two acts, Dormammu, a huge planet-consuming extra-dimensional energy being, was played through facial capture by Cumberbatch. Oh, who did not voice the character.
Ooh, there you
So Dormammu was just face acted by Cumberbatch. That's your information. You got it wrong.
I'm sorry.
You should be.
Failed the world.
Obviously there's post-credit scenes.
Yes, there's two of them. One of them that's actually I'm assuming is a clip from Thor rather than like just a simple like nod to Thor. I think this actually came from the Thor movie, the Ragnarok.
I hope that it does as well. Oh my god, I'm excited for the Thor Ragnarok too because I heard it's supposed to be partially Planet Hulk.
Yeah.
So that would be cool. And then the second one is just
showing off the next bad guy.
Yep. Just a sequel to Doctor Strange, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it.
That's it.
That's it for our little movie review cast.
So, I really liked it. I thought it was a good introduction to the character, especially for people who didn't know who he was, like myself.
Mm-hmm.
I knew very little, but I did know some things, and this was a good intro. I could give it to anybody, and for them to actually be like, okay, I know who Doctor Strange is. I don't know everything about him, but it's a good intro for him. So, yeah, I'm happy about that. It's a standalone movie.
Well, with that being said, let's see. We have. I say that a lot too, by the way. With that being said,
yeah, is that a thing?
I gotta work on that.
Is that a thing you say?
Everybody who listens to the podcast tells me.
Yeah, I still edit them out. Like I don't know. I guess a lot of them slip in.
Hopefully, I didn't say it that many times. With that being said, with that being said, with that being said, so we have a thumbs up from me regarding Doctor Strange. We have a thumbs up from Alexander.
I have thumbs.
We have. Okay. I pulled it up on Rotten Tomatoes for anybody who's interested in it. As of right now, it's got 90%.
90 thumbs.
It's 90% on the tomato meter. It debuted at 100.
Of course.
So that was pretty good. And the audience score is still at 91%. So sitting in the 90s, that's good. You can find it at just about every movie theater out there right now, clearly.
If you have a movie theater.
If you have a movie theater. And if you don't have a movie theater, chances are you probably aren't listening to this podcast anyway.
That's true. What's the internet?
Exactly. Anything else? You got anything else you want to add to this?
Fuck Marvel.
Rude.
Okay. Fuck Disney.
Rude.
Rude.
They're the ones putting these movies on.
Fuck movies.
That's valid. So with the end of this podcast, we'll go ahead and sign off, I guess. Yeah?
Yeah. Okay, so where can we find you on the internet?
So for Drinks and Round Table, I'm James. You can find me on Twitter at James Draven. That's at JamesDrhaven. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook. You can find our podcast on Facebook. You can find our podcast on youtube.com/Drinks and Round Table Podcast, SoundCloud.com, Facebook.com. All of the basically every Facebook, SoundCloud, and YouTube.com/Drinks and a Round Table Podcast.
Yeah. And for myself, I am at sadly the Alexander Void on Facebook and Instagram. I hate the but somebody took Alexander Void. And on Twitter, I can't even have the luxury of having that. I have Void Alexander on Twitter. So if you want to yell at me about my great review of Doctor Strange and how much I hate it and how much 3D sucks and it was a good movie and fuck you.
Yeah, just come scream at us because I feel like you and I are drained for some reason. We were not very energetic for this
I am so
particular podcast. We'll be better for the next one, though, for sure.
Happy. All right, so goodbye, guys.
Oh, wait.
Watch Doctor Strange.
And then the special guest that we had on our episode who didn't have a whole lot to say, but...
What?
Are you excited for Doctor Strange?
Just.
I am excited for Doctor Strange.
We're going to do this. It's going to happen.
I just don't feel good.
Are you going to watch it in IMAX 3D?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's what we're gonna get.
This fool's paying for it.
Yeah.
He's my date.
Ooh. That's a lucky lady.
Wow.
I don't get it.
We can only hope. We can only hope.